President Donald Trump is once again making headlines, this time over the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show. Trump is publicly criticizing the NFL's decision to feature Bad Bunny, calling it a terrible choice, and is reportedly pushing for an alternative performance, though the league confirms the official show will go on as planned. Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, said Trump would much prefer watching Kid Rock's halftime show to Bad Bunny's at the Super Bowl.
And just one more about this weekend. At the Mar-a-Lago Super Bowl party, after the first two quarters, are the TVs going to be on the halftime show with Bad Bunny or the halftime show with Kid Rock?
I think the president would much prefer a Kid Rock performance over Bad Bunny, I must say that. I hope everybody has a good weekend. Happy Super Bowl weekend. The president has wisely chosen not to make a prediction in Sunday night's game, but as a native girl from New Hampshire, go Patriots. Thank you, guys.
Going forward, we have John Iadarola with us, the renowned American talk show host, who bluntly said President Donald Trump is actually afraid to go on the show due to his connections with the recent Epstein Files drama.
Trump is evidently utterly terrified of being booed at once again at the Super Bowl, so he has to think of a good excuse for him to skip it, because obviously he'd like to be there, right? I mean, he likes being the center of attention. It's this big masculine thing that conservatives have weirdly been against for the last few years. Very un-American, if you ask me. But anyway, by the fact that we're talking about this, you can probably surmise that his excuse isn't very good, and it is not. So he probably would have been okay if he just said, I'm protesting it because of Bad Bunny. He's a very bad bunny and I don't want to see him. But that's not actually his main excuse. He said, it's just too far away. I've gotten great hands at the Super Bowl. They like me. I would go if, it was a little bit shorter.
Trump complained about Bad Bunny and Green Day, saying he's anti them and accusing them of spreading hate. John and Jair Jackson highlight Trump's contradictory actions. Trump has exhibited hateful speech when it suited his needs. They point out that Bad Bunny parodies Trump's history of hatred against immigrants, and that Billy Joe Armstrong of Green Day has publicly denounced the MAGA movement.
What is it that Bad Bunny did that sowed hatred? Just ask him, and ask him with all not a gotcha energy of it, because it shouldn't be a gotcha question, because if you have a belief system in what you're saying, you should have a thought behind it. So straight up, oh man, I agree, Mr. President, the hatred that's sowed by Bad Bunny, what did he do?
Yeah. Well, one thing, he had some fun at Trump's expense. In one of his songs, he had an imitation Trump saying, I want to apologize to the immigrants in America, which obviously Trump does not like immigrants and likes apologizing even less. And so he probably didn't like that. But you'd think he'd have more of an issue with Billy Joe Armstrong of Green Day, who said, I'm not a part of the redneck agenda. I'm not a part of the MAGA agenda.
Trump criticized the NFL's new kickoff rule, stating that it has erased some of the game's prestige and power. John has attempted to portray Trump as a fake alpha who talks tough but does not have the characteristics of a true alpha male, such as avoiding military service due to bone spurs. Critics of athletes, while playing golf, will not even go to the Super Bowl that he is complaining about. The overall theme is that Trump is posturing, insecure, and not a serious individual.
Donald Trump likes, he likes, a weak king likes to have the games in front of him where as much carnage as possible can happen so that he can be entertained. That's all he has an issue with. I have a better idea. We'll change the rule right after we do it your way with your ass catching the ball. Then 100%. We'll watch that happen.
Put him in pads, get the breastplate stretcher, get some pads that'll fit over him, get him in there. And let's see it. And obviously, this is a dude, he loves to criticize the military after he made up a fake case of bone spurs, criticizing the athletes when, by the way, bear in mind, golf is my third favorite thing in the world right now. But golf is a sport that he plays, and he's talking about how they should be getting more concussions or whatever. There's not a lot of chance of that in golf. An errant titleist to the head, perhaps. But other than that, I think he's going to be just fine. No, yeah, it's just posturing. Dude, you're not even going to the Super Bowl. I don't think he's sitting and watching football at home.
I don't think so either.
So again, it's fake, being a fake alpha, fake man or whatever. Get the hell out of here.
The NFL's refusal to back down from selecting Puerto Rican superstar Bad Bunny for the 2026 Super Bowl halftime show has ignited a nationwide cultural debate, with tensions over language, representation, and the changing face of one of America's most iconic events. The NFL trolls MAGA and Trump for the third time, and the internet is collectively cackling. Let's check this video.
For the third time in a row, the NFL has trolled Donald Trump and MAGA, and the internet is collectively cackling. It all began when they chose Bad Bunny as their Super Bowl halftime performance, which MAGA flipped out. Of course, many of them don't know that Puerto Rico is actually a U.S. territory, and Bad Bunny is an American. And the NFL's trolling didn't stop there. A few months later, they announced that Brandi Carlile will be singing America the Beautiful. She's a member of the LGBT+ community. She is also a huge critic of Donald Trump. And the third trolling and cherry on the top of the sundae came today when the NFL announced that Green Day will be leading the opening ceremony for the Super Bowl. Green Day is perhaps the most outspoken band when it comes to criticizing Donald Trump. They've changed lyrics in their music from Redneck America to MAGA America, and they lead cheers on stage. No Trump, no KK, no fascist USA.
Due to divisions within the United States over the immigration enforcement actions taken by President Donald Trump and the deployments of ICE and Border Patrol agents, many protests have erupted throughout the country. He just completed a very successful concert series of 31 sold-out shows in Puerto Rico, and he will not be touring the U.S. continentally because he's concerned about his fans being targeted by ICE agents. Homeland Security Secretary Chris Noem stated that ICE will be present at the Super Bowl in Santa Clara, California.
Telling the Benny Show podcast that ICE agents will be present.
We'll be all over that place. And we're going to enforce the law. So I think people should not be coming to the Super Bowl unless they're law-abiding Americans who love this country.
Bad Bunny has experienced growing popularity across the United States, especially among Latinos. Earlier this year, Bad Bunny was featured in the movie Happy Gilmore 2, and he was also featured in the 2020 Super Bowl 54 halftime show with Shakira and Jennifer Lopez in Miami. Supporters of having a halftime show in Spanish argue that it would show what modern music looks like and how the Latino population is growing in our country. Critics of introducing a Spanish-language halftime show argue that the Super Bowl has always been geared toward an English-speaking audience, and that such a show would be exclusionary or inappropriate for this type of event. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell addressed concerns about the halftime show and said the Grammy winner understands the show is about unity. Goodell said during a news conference he understood the platform he was on, and this platform is used to unite people and to be able to bring people together, where their creativity and their talents, and be able to use this moment to do that. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell addressed concerns about the halftime show and said the Grammy winner understands the show is about unity. He understood the platform he was on, and this platform is used to unite people and to be able to bring people together, where their creativity and their talents, and be able to use this moment to do that, Goodell said during a news conference. A survey of anonymous NFL players by The Athletic determined that 58.6% of players support Bad Bunny playing the halftime show, while 41.4% are against the idea. I'm anti them. I think it's a terrible choice. All it does is sow hatred. Terrible, Trump said. The president said, however, that the musicians aren't his reason for skipping the game. It's just too far away. I've gotten great hands at the Super Bowl. They like me, Trump said. The king of Latin trap has been openly critical of Trump, including releasing a song last year, Nueva York, that featured an imitated Trump voice saying, "I want to apologize to the immigrants in America. This country is nothing without the immigrants. This country is nothing without Mexicans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Colombians, Venezuelans, Cubans." Green Day lead singer Billie Joe Armstrong voiced support last week for anti-deportation protesters in Minnesota, saying, "I'm not a part of a redneck agenda. I'm not a part of the MAGA agenda." Trump attended last year's Super Bowl in New Orleans between the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles, in which the Eagles defeated the Chiefs, who were cheered on by pop star Taylor Swift, whose boyfriend is Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. The selection for this September's event drew controversy among several prominent right-wing media outlets, all of which referenced past criticism of President Trump's immigration policies by the artist. Puerto Rican rapper Bad Bunny says he's trying to stay calm ahead of Sunday's Super Bowl halftime show, but it isn't working out. "Last night, I couldn't sleep," he said during a press conference for the show, admitting that he'd often woken up thinking about the Super Bowl at 4 a.m. The controversy even led one conservative organization in the U.S. to plan an alternative show during halftime, starring singer and Trump ally Kid Rock. "I think the president would much prefer a Kid Rock performance over Bad Bunny. I must say that," White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said on Thursday. The artist took home the Album of the Year award on Sunday night at the Grammys and became the first performer to do halftime of the Super Bowl in Spanish. Conservatives counter Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime with a TPUSA show, while Michael Costa links Trump's push to nationalize voting to his 2020 election claims.
Licks is right around the corner, and everyone's excited for the Bad Bunny halftime show. And by everyone, I mean the radical woke communists who hate America.
The NFL just chose the Bad Bunny Rabbit or whatever his name, this guy who hates ICE.
And he doesn't sing in English.
Someone who hates America.
Who wants to watch a man wearing a dress anyway?
It is woke puke.
Bad Bunny's lyrics contain every sexual term possible in the most explicit and severe sexual terminology possible.
The lyric is, "Where are the horny ladies? One more dance and we're going to call the Vatican. I was in hell when I found a devil." I mean, is this who you want as your halftime entertainment?
Bad Bunny is the stage name of Puerto Rican singer Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, whose genre-bending songs and convention-flouting lyrics have made him a global star. Since 2020, he's been the most played artist on Spotify in 4 separate years, a clean sweep that was only broken by Taylor Swift.
You might not know these, but I'm doing the Super Bowl halftime show. And I'm very happy.
Bad Bunny on SNL, using his voice in response to criticism surrounding his big new gig.
I'm very happy, and I think everyone is happy about it. Even Fox News.
Bad Bunny
Is my favorite
Musician.
and he should be the next president.
That was a parody, but there's been real pushback from some quarters against the NFL hiring the 31-year-old superstar, whose real name is Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, and who primarily sings in Spanish. Bad Bunny addressing it head on.
Sports talk, podcast, and YouTube show Speakeasy, hosted by Emmy-winning analyst Emmanuel Acho and Eagles Hall of Famer LaShawn McCoy, shared their mixed feelings about Bad Bunny's upcoming performance at the Super Bowl halftime show, with excitement about him being one of the most popular and successful artists today, and being the #1 most streamed artist overall, leading to a large audience.
The Super Bowl halftime show was announced during halftime of Sunday night's game, and it was revealed that Mr. Bad Bunny is going to be doing Super Bowl halftime this year. How do we feel about this?
Can I confess?
I don't like where this is going.
But
go
please.
ahead.
Can I confess?
I like how this is going.
Can I confess?
Yes.
Up until 3 years ago, I thought Bad Bunny was a woman.
Ooh.
Wow.
Up until 3 years ago, I thought Billie Eilish was a man.
Okay.
So I'm happy for Mr. Bunny, I think. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this, because here's why. It's not that Bad Bunny don't go crazy. The question is the football audience going to enjoy Bad Bunny in person?
However, they raised the possibility that the average viewer of the Super Bowl, especially in America, may not be able to appreciate Bad Bunny's performance, especially since a lot of his music is sung in Spanish. He said Latin American performers such as Shakira and Kendrick Lamar had a wide appeal in the United States, while Bad Bunny may not be able to achieve the same success.
In the building last year when Kendrick Lamar did his thing.
Minor!
I'm not gonna lie, for 10 minutes of the 11 minutes, everyone was watching like, oh, this young man's a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Super Bowl audience is like. So in the arena, it's not really about that. What he made a great point. Shady made a phenomenal point. this Super Bowl, it would not surprise me if it breaks records for
will.
international viewership.
Of course.
Because
Of course.
it's the biggest stage that an artist can have to perform. Regardless, like it's not a Eurovision, it's not a American Idol, it's not a Grammys, it's not this right here is the
But you
biggest
know
stage
what?
for a musical artist to perform. He is one of the biggest musical artists.
But
Now,
at
I
what
agree.
cost? Because
Yeah.
they're going to
I
lose
agree.
the social media battle.
Conversation also included speculation about the impact of the performance on social media in the United States, as they thought the performance may not be a dominant conversation on social media in the US, but would probably be an enormous success around the world. Overall, the hosts agreed Bad Bunny is an excellent artist with great international appeal, but they do not know how the US audience will respond to a halftime performance that is performed mostly in Spanish.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Bad Bunny get announced this year, and like they're going to lose the social media battle.
Acho, are you watching the Super Bowl?
Yes,
If I was performing the halftime show, would you watch the Super Bowl?
of course.
If Social Trey was performing the
There it
halftime
is.
show, would
That's
you
three.
would you watch the Super Bowl?
That's three.
That's
You
three
know,
strikes
you're gonna
out
watch
there.
the Super Bowl regardless.
But now you know what?
Now
though?
look,
No, but you right. Hold up. But you might not watch the halftime show. You know why though? Because I'm thinking
Yeah.
like, this is crazy though. This is crazy. Majority of the players is like Americans, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
And back he do like a lot of Spanish.
Correct.
Yeah, bro.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
last
I'm
year's-
still gonna be with the hips and all that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
But I ain't gonna know the words. No, I'm just gonna be like, yeah.
It's just a wrong football audience. Different football.
Yeah, you right.
Different football.
Right.
They-
'Cause
you know, they-
I probably might, if I'm not gonna go, I'm probably gonna change the shit. I'm not gonna watch that.
He began singing in a church choir at age 5 and got his stage name from a childhood photo of himself making a silly face in a bunny suit. As a teen, he attended the University of Puerto Rico, where he studied audiovisual communication and worked as a bagger at a supermarket to help fund his recordings. One of his early songs, Delays, caught the attention of DJ Luian, who signed him to a record contract. Audiences loved his sound, where big, strong beats and loud sounds contrasted with the artist's relaxed delivery. Before Bad Bunny's guests rap on Cardi B's 2018 chart-topping single, I Like It, brought him to the attention of US mainstream listeners. He had already achieved 16 chart hits in the top 40 on the US Latin charts. He released his debut album, X100 Pray, on Christmas Eve in 2018 to critical acclaim from around the world. The music showcased his diversity, with songs spanning from the pop-punk Estamos Bien to the reggaeton ballad Si Estuviésemos Juntos and the overtly political Estamos Bien, the theme song of Puerto Rico after we were hit by Hurricane Maria. His third studio album, El Último Tour del Mundo, became the very first #1 album on Billboard's Chart 200 to be only sung in Spanish back in 2020. All other albums since have also topped the charts in the United States. Additionally, he won the Latin Grammy Award for Best Urban Music Album. For example, instead of simply singing about seducing women and giving them power, he has dressed up in drag and wrestled in WWE. He is also known for being one of the key people responsible for demonstrating against the evidence of former Puerto Rican Governor Ricardo Rosselló's administration, and has been a significant opponent of the Trump administration's immigration policies. During the last year, he chose not to perform his tour anywhere in the mainland United States out of concern for the safety of his fans being targeted by immigration officers. Instead, he created what was nearly a residency in Puerto Rico, a territory of the United States, and while accepting a Grammy Award on Monday, he stated, "Ice out," and expressed his concerns about how immigrants contribute to the United States. Following that award and his continuing commitment to Puerto Rican culture, he is the owner of his album, Debí Tirar Más Fotos, which is both a celebration of Puerto Rican culture as well as a way to condemn exploitation by outside forces. He is a unique performer with great charisma, and a lot of other people will know his music by lighting himself on fire in this way. In terms of ratings, the Super Bowl has been the most watched program on US television every year since 1967. Additionally, the halftime show receives more than half the audience of the game in most years. In 2021, for example, 133 million viewers tuned in to see Kendrick Lamar break audience records for a live performance, whereas performances such as Maroon 5 in 2019 may not have the same amount of star power, their viewership during that time still reached a close to 100 million threshold. The halftime show has also created numerous iconic moments throughout its 50-year history, from Prince performing Purple Rain in the pouring rain to Katy Perry's now famous Left Shark dancing out of sync. Both have gone viral across social media platforms. The scale of exposure generated from an appearance at the Super Bowl is considerable. Therefore, many artists, including Lady Gaga, Bruno Mars, and Rihanna, perform at no charge. All artists receive a union-scale payment of approximately $1,000, 738 pounds per day, while the NFL bears the cost associated with producing the halftime show. For instance, the latest show, which featured Jennifer Lopez and Shakira, cost approximately $1 million per minute to produce, according to reports by Reuters, as well as covering expenses associated with artist travel and lodging.